Hi guys, welcome to Simproved, Fry speaking here, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are going to build the Beetlejuice house, or the house of the Maitlands, from the movie Beetlejuice. Since it is Spooktober, of course I had to rebuild something from, a movie, TV series, games, stuff like this. I love to do that in The Sims. And this one has been highly requested a lot of times by you guys. And I thought, finally, I'm gonna tackle it, so to speak. Also, I watched the movie about 15 times while building this and off time building this to get it just right. And I have to say the layout was the hardest part. There are lots and lots of other versions of this on the Sims 4 gallery, also on YouTube. I'm not the first one to come up with the idea to build this. And as always, they are all very fantastic recreations. And as always, I will put some of the links in the comments down below so you can go and check them out. Because, us builders, we kind of, we always copy from each other a little bit. So they helped me a bunch. The hardest part was the layout, the inner layout. The exterior was okay-ish. I will put in some pictures for those who haven't seen the movie, which are stills from the movie, how the house looks like. And also I have to thank Hooked on Houses, which is like a blog website that has like a huge archive on movie houses and stuff like that. So it's always very helpful to look up that stuff. And yeah, these basically I went by these stills first. And when I was building this, or while I was doing the exterior shell, as you can see here, I already had in mind, okay, I want this to be, as always, playable in The Sims, right? Like, you can make it just as accurate as possible, but then it's maybe not playable for your Sims. And my first goal of all these rebuilds is usually that you can then later, maybe with mods, but that you can later, replay the movie, so to speak, in this house or like in your Sims game. And it's definitely possible here. I mean, of course, we don't have like the spooky ghosts. We have ghosts in the Sims, but you know what I mean. It's possible probably with like some mods or something like this, to really play out the whole story. But since it takes place in mainly just this house, I thought, okay, this definitely is like a really cool, kind of creepy cookie horror movie. It's kind of like a horror comedy. So for those who don't know this movie, I think it's absolutely safe to watch. I wouldn't say it's very creepy. I can remember watching it when I was a kid, and I really loved it. I wasn't scared at all. I really liked the whole thing and like how everything looks, and it's kind of very cookie and stuff. I really enjoyed it. It's a very special movie. I will also sometimes reference some things that happen in the movie. So for those who didn't have the time to watch the movie yet since 1988, I mean, I'm sorry, but the story is so unbelievable and kind of weird that I would say it's not even a spoiler if I say something or reference something. So yeah, so here we go with lots and lots of roofs. The roofing was a little bit hard. I changed the roof texture quite a lot, as you can see here. This is not the final roof textures. The windows were a little bit wonky first. There is one corner of the house, or like one side of the house we never see. And also for that movie, I have to say this again, they just built the house as a facade. So this is not even a real house that we can see there. There is a facade. They really built like a huge 1-to-1 scale facade to do the exterior shots. There's also a model of the house in the movie, like little, not toy model, but like a model house. We will see that later in the attic, of course, as well. So modeling and like little tiny models kind of is, they did this in real life as well. So it was kind of interesting, to come up with something so it really works. I'm just going to assume they shot the interior shots on the studio lot or something like this. This is something that happens a lot since I'm doing these rebuilds in The Sims. That happens a lot of times. So they usually shoot a house that maybe really exists, or they build a facade or it's CGI or something like that for the outside shots. And then the interior is mostly filmed on a set or something like that. And yeah, that's making it very hard to do the floor plan. I looked at a lot of these other Beetlejuice houses in the Sims 4 gallery, and I have to say it's a little bit hard to do the floor pan, so it is like, you can have the same panning shots and camera shots like it is in a movie. This is a thing, especially that happens if you do that like on a studio lot. That it's just not, it's not possible that the door is there now. That should be an exterior wall and just lead to nowhere, stuff like that. I can see that now if you have watched the movie over and over again. So yeah, some things won't align, and I especially just didn't do it like it looks in the movie because for Sims gameplay. There are some things that wouldn't make any sense to implement because Sims are very fickle, I would say, is that a word, when it comes to pathing and finding their own pathways. And we are scraping hard on the thing here, especially for the interior later on as well. So yeah, the house has a kind of built on a little bit of a hill, sorta, so it has like the slope, and especially on the exterior I would call it a veranda. So I added that there, but the whole hill it's standing on I'm not going to do, because again, as steep as the steeper it gets, the less the Sims will walk around it, and also objects will halfway float in the air. Like there is some things that aren't as usable, I would say, and make it a little bit hard to navigate for your Sims. And like I said, I want this to be a very playable family house. I've play tested this heavily, so yeah, I am happy to report that some things I definitely, play tested. It's working all fine. I even had 4 Sims living in there. It's all working fine. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like the whole layout of it. It's like a nice family house layout, to be honest. And that's something I have with lots of these houses sometimes when I come up with the layout and stuff, that it teaches me a little bit more about how maybe more American family houses are built. And it's yeah, it's cool because you can sometimes put that stuff into gameplay as well. So here you see me putting in a garage door. It has a garage door right there. This is, I think, like a debug door or something. And I used the tool mod by Twisted Maxi, which basically lets you resize stuff and like place stuff somewhere where you usually wouldn't be able to place it. I use it, but I don't, use it as much as some people who like build totally new objects and stuff like that out of this. But it is possible with the mod. But don't be scared. You don't need the mod to download this. This is absolutely CC free. It will be listed as CC free. You don't have to download anything for this to work in your Sims game. All, of course, you need to have is the packs that I used, which you will see in the download link as well, that I will put in the video description for you down below, as always. So yeah, absolutely CC free, and I always try to stay away from CC. Maybe one day I'm gonna, do my own CC. I'm currently working on a little world project. I'm creating my own neighborhood. I run into the phase where I'm like, okay, I kind of have to CC some stuff here to make it work. But yeah, more on this maybe later next year. I don't know when it will be finished. But yeah, so shrubbery around the veranda, which they have there too. I will also hide some stuff on the unseen corner of the house. There's like this little corner, like this little angle that you never see. There will be 2 generators and like some pots and a little bit more stuff to do, skill stuff. And I always like to put in lots of skill stuff, so for gameplay wise your Sims don't have to move the lot that much to gain some certain skills. Plus they can usually, whatever they craft or plant and gather and collect and whatnot, they can sell. And I really like the idea of this, to not lose your Sims time or your time with your Sim while they're being offloaded to like this imaginary career they have. So yeah, I'm always a huge defender for Sims working from home, or kind of making money from home somehow. So here we are with the famous stairs, where at the end there will be, in the movie there's this character called Lydia who is doing the Shake Sonora song by Harry Belafonte, I think it is. And I absolutely love that. The whole house goes through a transformation, right? And this is of course before that transformation starts. I really like the whole floral, kitschy part of it. And I have to say the interior color theme I went here is a little bit more desaturated. It's very colorful. This could be because the movie is a little bit old, and sometimes these cameras back in the days were really, you know, they captured the colors a little bit too saturated a little bit. But I think that usually all of the woods that you can see here are a little bit more red tinted. Since this takes place in the 80s as well, like in the 80s, it's a very over-the-top wallpaper and stuff like that. I think I chose a little bit more toned down versions here. That's just for the reason I didn't find the perfect wallpaper without going, you know, custom content. And I wanted this to be, you know, for you guys to be as easy as possible to download. And also especially one reason why I usually never go for CC is also the console players, because they're just not able to download that stuff, right? Or like implement. They could download probably, but like you can't implement it into your console version of the game. Hence why I don't do that. I mean, you know, never did actually. Yeah, I think that, no. But yeah, this is, you know, just some of the reasons where I went a little bit. This is my own house now. There is this little entry hallway thing, I don't know, leading up to the living room, which we definitely see in the movie, and it was a little bit, you know, like this is not lining up, like the camera shots. So that layout here, like I already said, is of course not lining up. I think this is because they, you know, they had like a different set or shot it in a different house or something like that. But I think this is like the best as possible as it is. And I think most people who download this house later won't really care if the video shots are aligning. I usually am a sucker for that. I always try to make it work. By the way, if you hear like some ringing in the background, that's my dog Gina. I really have to remove her dog tags when I do recording. She's always like, why are you talking to yourself? Give me a pat. So here we are in the living room. There are two features that are very much prominent in the scenes that take place in a living room. There's a large fireplace, and on the fireplace are horse statues. Apparently she collects them. and there are these two very long armchairs. I think they're beige or white. I went for beige white here. And of course later we will have the book for the recently deceased next to the right one, which is also there here in my version. It's the brown book over there. And that's basically it. So I had lots and lots of freedom all around it. You know how the rest looks like. It's because it's kind of a little bit dark. There is a little bit of sofa showing, stuff like that. I think also the wallpaper is the same that we can see in the foyer. How do Americans spell foyer? I'm just gonna say it. It's a foyer with the stairs. I think that's the same one, just like as a guess. I kind of wanted to spice it up and not use the same wallpaper over and over again, even though that wallpaper, which is, by the way, base game, has I think 5 different swatches, you know, like some is just a wallpaper, some it's like with a wooden trim, some is like a different wallpaper mix. It's weird, but sometimes it's weird and irritating what base game has and why it's there, and not like one object, but it's split it into 5, you know, kind of sometimes weird. Anyways, here we are in the dining room. I think we see it before the transformation, but the new family already moved in. And it has this wooden panel as a wallpaper, basically. There's a fireplace and there's like a huge cupboard somewhere. And that's basically what I went for. I will definitely later off camera change the chairs to something a little bit more simple. And also, I can experiment a little bit with the objects that we have in this darker brown tone. I always love the darker brown tones. It kind of is a little bit, you know, so classic. So I personally always love to use them. But yeah, we definitely have very different wooden swatches. So yeah, the kitchen we only see in 2 scenes, I believe. I went with the first one which only shows one side of the kitchen, but it gives us some hints that there's like a door leading outside through like a little laundry kind of shack built on annex, which is also accessible from the outside because someone is talking through that door with someone. So that's probably like the side entrance. Also, later on, we will see there's like a stairs actually going from the kitchen upstairs. I didn't use this here because I needed the space for this to be workable for The Sims. Also, I think the pathways and walkways aren't that hardcore here because I downsized the house a little bit more for it to be playable and kind of not like as grand and big as it suddenly became in The Sims. So I had to downsize quite a lot. So the stairs was not necessary anymore. And the fireplace is there in the movie. I personally find it distracting. I will later frame that with another fridge. So everything is working fine. And then we move upstairs. Upstairs we have a bench, for example. Again, horrible, very 80s kitsch kind of wallpaper. But I mean, that were the times, and also I think this is like what it's, you know, kind of showing what kind of people are living in that house. So yeah, the bedroom of the couple living there is very interesting. There is a scene or a sequence where the new owners with their interior designer friend walk through the house, and it's mostly close-ups, and they change like the colors, like they discuss the colors, but like they walk through the house upstairs, and I've seen that sequence which is like, I think 1.5 minutes or so, like, I don't know, felt 200 times to figure out the layout. I'm like, where are they going? What door is that? Why is that door the same color as that door? And then there's an ensuite bathroom. Where's that bathroom? Like, I was trying to figure out by these 1.5 minutes where everything is. And later on I was like, in the end, people want to play, you know, the family maybe, and want to replay the movie. I think they wouldn't care that much as I do. So I kind of gave up. But this is the closest, in my opinion, as you can get. That's definitely all the stuff you can see here in all these rooms is there. And it's like the Sims 4 version of everything. So for example, there is that office kind of library room. And we know that apparently the previous owners are into the birds of America, and they kind of look at the birds through their windows. So we have the bird collection, right? There's lots of, it's like this darker wood, of course. There's like a yellowish, beigeish wallpaper again, with a very high set panels again. Stuff like that. So I could implement that, but I had no idea where that room is. Kind of didn't make sense that much. Either this house has lots and lots of weird hallways, which I always hate. I hate hallways that are very long, have no windows, and are very dark. That's something I just generally would say is bad architecture. But sure, you know, that would be possible, but I always try to circumvent that stuff. Hallways without any other function than being a hallway is just so jail. I don't know. But yeah, here we are in this library room. And yeah, Birds of America. Well, there are bird feathers kind of collection on the wall, and I just thought, okay, this kind of makes sense. And also I will put the typewriter PC there. So your Sims even have a PC. I thought maybe, you know, I'm always a sucker for the PCs in the games. I'm really happy that with Cottage Living we got this typewriter that is actually a PC for these old builds, because Sims can do so much stuff on the computer these days. Like they can write, they can socialize, you can basically do everything except going on the toilet and shower or something. It's amazing. I love the PC. I think you need the PC, and I think also your Sims, you know, by themselves go to the PC all the time. Like that's a thing now, which is kind of self-ironic of the game, of course, because you're playing a PC game, you know. Anyways, now we move up to the attic. So the attic space I've seen in lots of the other builds is very high, like very small. I'm very happy to announce that mine is very playable, and you know, you can walk around and stuff, and everything is working. So there is two things that had to be in the attic, of course. So first of all, that's the very famous model that Beetlejuice lives in, you know, the name-giving character, so to speak. There are lots of these fairy lights hanging from the ceiling. There is a little sun system, solar system model hanging above the model. I think it's, you know, the people who live there created that model of the whole town. And later on we will see that Beetlejuice is running some ads, and it's like this call now kind of commercial thing for his services, I would say. And I really like the whole style of it, and I wanted to have this implemented here. So I will put lots and lots of these very commercial kind of light bulb advertising lights here. And that's supposed to be, here's Beetlejuice, I live here in your model, call me, you know, my number, something like that. Because that's something that happens, kinda, sorta, you know, and definitely would happen. We just don't see it, but stuff like that. So I wanted that to happen here as well. So I made stuff smaller, you know, I first wanted to go with red, but it kind of made it look a little bit more like Red Light District. And then later on, when they are in the model and talking to Beetlejuice, it has this very greenish, bluish tone, like the lighting. And I like the idea, so I will later also change the lights around the model and inside the model a little bit to the green bluish hue. Then I also put the big old tree in there, made it smaller. Also put in the model and some gravestones, because Beetlejuice is actually living on the model, but on the cemetery of the model next to a big, you know, creepy tree under a gravestone. So yeah, I had to put that in there. Then there's obviously a TV next to the door of the attic, because that's also when we can see another commercial that Beetlejuice runs, you know, and they can see it. So that was quite funny. And then we have lots and lots of sheets over the sofa and the other objects. I basically looked at all the stuff that has white sheets or like white kind of curtains, something like that, and then put them here, because that's how they, you know, not decorate, but you know, that's how you protect your furniture that you put up in the attic, which is also something here. And then later on they actually with chalk draw like a door on the brick wall, exposed brick, and we don't have chalk lines, so I used cracks, and I think it looks even way cooler that way. So we have a little door, and behind that door, well, behind that non-existing door here in The Sims, there's this green light, because later on there comes green light out of it, and oh, where does it bring the people? I don't know. I'm not going to spoil the whole movie. Watch it. But yeah, these were basically stuff that I wanted to implement here. So since the TV is not like, it's functional, your Sims can watch, but they don't have a place to sit, because I had to put the TV there where it is. There is another unused room which is accessible, and I wanted to use that so that your Sims spend lots of time in the attic. Therefore there will be this TV kind of cloth thing, there will be a chess table and other stuff to do. And here we are with the top to bottom shots of the house, if you want to see where everything is, and also if you want to rebuild this. And now we go into the panning shots, guys, so you can see everything, how it looks like. And yeah, Gina is moving around a lot. So yeah, this is the house, the Beetlejuice house from the movie. I really, really love this. I hope you like this too. It is of course on the Sims 4 gallery for free to download for you guys. I will put the download link in the video description as always. My EA ID is Simproved, and yeah, that's basically it, guys. If you have any more wishes what I have to rebuild from other movies, etc., let me know. I really hope you like this, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.